Hello, Triple J Labradoodle puppy parents. This is your week 4 litter update. In today's video, we are going to give you an update on each of the puppies in terms of their weight, also give you a little information about the personalities we're starting to see. We're going to give you an update on Mama JoJo. We're going to tell you quite a bit today about nutrition, and it's appropriate that the puppies are all nursing as we start this video. As you can see, they are enjoying some great nutrition thanks to JoJo's milk bar. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and these Australian Labradoodle puppies from our Triple J litter are 4 weeks old today. Next week is going to be our family visit, which is going to be so much fun. Everyone will finally get to meet the puppies in person, hold them, touch them, and get to know them themselves. So this week, JoJo has continued to do really well. She is a really lovely mom in terms of the fact that she's experienced, she's very comfortable with her puppies, she's very comfortable leaving them, but she's also extraordinarily attentive to them. So what she really wants now most of the time is to be away from the puppies and out and about with us. She just wants to go back to her regular sort of life. Right, JoJo? Yes, I love you too. So she's in and out, she's bouncing around, she's playing outside, chasing the ball, although right now I have the ball taken away from both JoJo and Ripple because I don't like them to play with it all the time and become ball obsessed. So we're having a week of no ball time. So Joe inevitably takes one of the toys from out of here and brings that to me outside and says, well, hey, here, do you want to throw this for me? Why not? Because this will work too. So she's spending a lot more time away from the puppies, getting the puppies used to being on their own and being a little bit more independent. And that has coincided with the fact that, as you can see, the puppies have all finished nursing now. They've all stopped because the milk bar is empty. And JoJo is naturally beginning to go through the process of weaning them herself. They're getting teeth, and that is not something that is comfortable on a milk bar. So it is nature's way. It's just all instinctive. We let JoJo guide this more than anything else. And when the puppies keep going back like this and then they stop and they kind of go, oh, there's nothing there, then we know it's time to move along and speed up the weaning process with JoJo. And we'll talk a little bit more about that a little later in the video and how that has started. You can see just by looking at our milk bar that it's quite flat. It's nowhere near as full as it was before. The puppies are able to drain her dry quite readily now. So normally if I'm not in here with them, she would now take her exit. We leave the door open for her. She can come and go as she chooses. It's totally up to her as to what she wants to do and what sort of relationship she wants to develop with the puppies. So she's still eating quite a lot. She's eating about 3.5 times what she would normally. She's in great shape. She's got lots of, she's probably carrying exactly the weight she should be to perhaps maybe 1% more, which is what I like to see on a lactating dog when we're getting to this point in the process. JoJo's going to go and have her hair done and have a nice spa day next week before your visit, so she'll have a nice, fresh, clean dress. It's always nice for the mom after the puppies are this old to be able to get rid of all of that old hair and all that whelping stuff. Now you'll see here, this is what I mean by she's a fabulous mom. Look at her interacting with her puppies. She loves playing with them. She thinks this is great. Some moms don't like to play with their puppies. Some moms think it's like, nope, I feed you and that's it, I'm out and I'm done. But not JoJo, she just thinks having kids is great. She's staying here all day playing with them. So when she does start to wean the puppies, we have a special suit she can wear so the puppies can't access the milk bar. That will allow her to continue to interact with them and teach them valuable lessons. So what she's doing right now by mouthing with them and everything is showing them this is the amount of pressure that's okay to use with your teeth. This is how you use your paws, and this is the way that you play with another dog so that they learn to be not too rough. And you see that they climb all over her. They don't care. They're all coming over to see what I've got. They're trying to find the wire from my microphone because that, of course, is the tastiest thing on the planet. Be just like when they find my glasses and my cell phone over here, those will be the other two things they really enjoy to chew on. Remember that when you're getting your house all set up. Now for the puppies, what are they doing? Well, you see they have a bed, they have a donut bed. This is one of our old donut beds. The sides are nice and soft so they can climb into it, they can fall out of it, and they've graduated from the bed that's flat on the floor so that now when JoJo is not here with them and perhaps they want to have a nice snuggly nap, there you go. This is what's going to make them feel like they're still with mom. What's the matter? You got something on your face there? Of course, right now they're all up and about and they're full of energy, so they're not going to give you the demo, but how the donut bed works is it has these nice supportive sides. So as it gets older, this gets softer, but it still will support the puppy and make it mimic the feeling of lying up against the milk bar. JoJo's got a very big itch here. Now, part of the reason for that is probably because she has some burrs in her face because she's been out exploring from today. So she's got some burrs in there she's trying to get out. So they will really enjoy the bed. They'll really like the snuggling up to it. Now these are the beds you get in your puppy starter kit. These are handmade in Canada. They are not filled with synthetic fillers. They're not full of junk. They're not going to catch on fire and burst into flame. They're all filled with clothing grade scraps, and that's what makes them nice and soft but also supportive. The bed comes apart, you throw it into your washer and into your dryer, and it will go for years and years and years. I have no many ideas how many times this one has been in and out of our washer and dryer. So that's what's going on with JoJo. Now for the puppies. If JoJo is spending more time away and has less milk, what happens for them? Well, they're eating some solid food. They started eating solid food this week. Now when we start the solid food, we start off with just goat's milk, a little bit of plain pablum, and that's about it. We just want them to get accustomed to being able to actually eat on their own and to slurp things up. Because licking things up isn't something that comes naturally to dogs. They have to kind of learn how to do that. And these guys were clearly ready because as soon as we put the pan in, they were all rushing right up to it. Now mostly what they did was run through it, they sat in it, and then they licked it off of each other and themselves, and then they quickly figured out, oh, it's in there. They still run through it and fall in it quite regularly because they're just little, but they are really getting the hang of it. They have graduated now, no more pablum. They still have goat milk, but they are now eating raw food. So they have had some salmon, and then that was not their most favorite item. They made a little bit of a face like this. They've had beef and they've had lamb. So it's important when you start giving them the raw nutrition that they have teeth, because if they don't have teeth, they're going to have too big of a piece that they're trying to swallow. So we mush it all up for them with the back of a spoon. We use a very fine grind food, and then we let it sit in a bit of the goat milk to make it a little softer. And so if one of the puppies has their teeth not in as much as one of the others, they're all able to manage it well. So they're all doing great with it. They love it. They come running to it. This is how we also first start teaching them how to come when they're called, so that they learn when you're called, it means food is coming. Always an important thing. So now why do we feed raw dog food? Why don't we use kibble? Why don't we just go get a bag of puppy kibble and put it in some milk and put it out for them? Well, a couple of reasons. So kibble, no matter how inexpensive or expensive it is highly processed. It is baked at extreme temperatures, a minimum of 4 times after the proteins and vegetables have been extruded. And that process every time removes any bioavailability of nutrition from the food. When you buy a bag of kibble, you may not know this, but there is more cost to the bag than there is to the food inside the bag. That alone should tell you that maybe this is something I should think twice about. And the reason why the bag is so expensive is, yes, there's some marketing on it and all of that, but the primary reason is the bag is full of chemicals, because it's important to keep the kibble that's in the bag shelf stable and from the fat not going rancid. So it is highly treated, full of chemicals to preserve that food and give it a shelf life usually of about 2 years. So that also is problematic, and that is one of the reasons why there's some thought that kibble is associated with the ever-increasing numbers for cancer in dogs. There's no scientific proof of that, but the bag is full of chemicals, and those are what are going into your dog's tummy. Yes, that's what's going in their tummy. Now the other thing is kibble, in order to be balanced and complete and comply with AAFCO regulations, they have a cocktail of synthetic vitamins and minerals because there is no actual nutritional value in the food left after all the baking. They have to add artificial vitamins and minerals in order to be able to say it is a complete and balanced food. So that's another thing to keep in mind, that yes, the vitamins and minerals are added, but they are in a synthetic format. And as you probably know from your own nutrition and diet, when you are adding something synthetically, it never gives you the same benefit as if it is occurring naturally. So all things to just keep in mind, and some of the reasons why we have chosen not to use a kibble diet. I started feeding raw dog food in 1981. It was a very new concept then. There was very little known about it. It was very hard to come by, and it was nothing like the raw food that we have now. It was not well balanced. It was not well thought out. It was just a bunch of raw meat that was thrown together and frozen in clumps. Even 3 years ago, there was not available, at least in Canada, what we have available now. Now we have a really nice array of products. And one of the things people often get confused about and ask about is, wow, these are little puppies and you're feeding them raw food. What about all that bacteria? Don't they get sick? Well, first thing to remember is, what do puppies eat if they are not being fed by people? They eat meat. They eat animals that their parents and the rest of their pack have killed, and they eat it raw. They don't know how to cook. And so that is what they eat naturally. And their whole system is designed to be able to manage an extraordinarily high level of bacteria and break it all down safely. That's why dogs, if you see them, if you go sit, let's say, out on a trail, and there's some half-eaten carcass of an animal on the trail that's been there for 2 weeks in the sun, and oh wow, they'll roll in it and they'll eat it, and you'll think, oh, ew, and they don't get sick. If they're kibble fed, they may, because it will upset the balance of their systems. But if they're a raw fed dog, your dog will not get sick from that. They'll just gross you out because to us it's really unappealing. But to dogs it's like, oh wow, this is fantastic. They like things that are stinky and have been dead for a long time, whereas we prefer things that smell nice and fresh. The other thing is, raw food manufacturers use a process most commonly called HPP, which is high pressure pasteurization, and that removes all of the bacteria from the food. So indeed, before raw dog food is put together and sold to you, it is checked much more thoroughly than food that you buy from the grocery store to feed yourself. If you took a package of frozen raw chicken and you took a package of grocery store chicken, there would be far more bacteria on the grocery store chicken that you're making for yourself than on the raw dog food. And that's because we cook our chicken. We don't tend to eat our chicken raw. We would get sick if we did that. But you could feed that grocery store chicken to a dog and they'd be totally fine, because they can handle that bacterial load. When a dog eats kibble, their internal balance, their gut microbiome changes from its natural highly acidic state to very alkaline. When you feed a dog naturally and give them whole foods and give them a raw diet, it maintains that very acidic environment, and that is what allows them to be able to eat all sorts of things and not have any dire consequences. We all know dogs who like to eat poo. We all think it's disgusting, but that's one of the reasons why dogs can eat poop and not get sick from it. Whereas if we did that, we would be very ill. So that's because we have an alkaline system, they have an acidic one. Same reason why they can eat raw bones and digest them, because the acidity in their stomach breaks it down, and so there isn't any worry about it. Now, oftentimes people say, but I thought bones splintered. How can you give your dogs chicken? How can you give them these things and it doesn't hurt them? You have to give them to them raw. Chicken necks that are raw, for instance, they don't splinter. That doesn't happen. A cooked bone splinters into a million sharp pieces and causes terrible problems. Those are all dangerous. There is no dog who should ever eat any type of cooked bones. I'm sure if you're as old as I am, you used to feed your dog your bones when you had a steak and they lived. I certainly have done that with my dogs, not knowing better, but it can lead to very serious problems, even death. But a raw bone does not present those problems for a dog whatsoever. It just is part of a great way to get bioavailability for multiple micronutrients, calcium, of course, being one of them. It also provides huge mental stimulation and satisfaction. The other benefit of raw food is you tend to have very little plaque buildup. Yep, some dogs on a raw diet will still get plaque. Usually that's if they're not eating high quality raw food or one that's properly balanced. Are you throwing things at me, JoJo? How rude. But even sometimes with a really good food, some dogs are just more prone to getting some plaque buildup. But generally speaking, a raw-fed dog requires little to no dental intervention, which saves you a whole lot of money at the end of the day. And the other thing people wonder about is it more expensive to feed raw food than it is to feed kibble? Not really. There's a couple of ways to look at this. First of all, the cost of kibble is quite high now if you get one that is a better food. And if you figure out pound for pound what that is, because when your dog eats kibble, they have to eat way more of it because there is so little actual nutrition in it. When your dog eats raw, they eat very little. So my adult dogs, for instance, 2 of them eat 8 ounces of food a day, and then my bigger girl eats 16 ounces of food a day. So overall they eat less. And also the other thing that happens is when they eat raw food, they don't drink as much water, which means that you can see the puppies are playing over there with their little wiggle board there. One's hiding under it. What that means is far less stress on their organs because they don't need gallons of water to process this dry cereal food. The food itself is actually hydrating them. So again, that's a big savings in money because that means far less vet bills. It also gives your dog a longer life expectancy, and it gives them a much better coat and gives them a better eyesight as well. So that's sort of a synopsis as to why we feed raw. We have weaned our puppies to raw food for years and years. We don't have any issues with it. And you can see that our puppies are all very robust. They're full body. They have nice shiny coats. The dogs have great levels of energy. When you pick your puppy up, you'll see that they're in really good condition. And most of that all comes from the fact that they've enjoyed a raw food diet. Now, you just saw JoJo. This is one of the toys that she has had outside to be thrown for her. That's why it's not very clean looking. But this is JoJo. She takes the toy away and she goes outside so somebody will maybe throw it for her, but she brings it back in and gives it back to her babies. She's such a good and caring mom, aren't you? Just great. So now let's talk a little bit more about the puppies and just the fact that this week they are starting to move around a great deal more. And we're going to talk about what their weights are and a little bit about each one. Now over there is the wobble chair that you see there, that blue chair. Now this is something new for the puppies, and the reason why this is in here is because they're getting older and they are able to handle a few different experiences now without any fear. So this is a super thing for them. It helps them develop their muscle tone, their coordination, and it's also something where they're getting all sorts of unexpected reactions out of it. It's like, oh, what the heck is going on there? And if you'll see on the sides here, there's all sorts of gouges and marks on it because it's also a really fabulous teething toy. And everybody is teething right now. They're all got nice teeth going on and quite a lot of teeth, which is why JoJo is thinking that maybe weaning wouldn't be such a bad idea. But you see how gentle she is here. She's upside down, offering her full self to her babies, sharing the toy, just having a great time. This is her zen. If I could stay in here 24/7, she would just be in her glory and she would never leave them. So let's go through the puppies now in birth order, as we usually do. We'll just get their weights up here for you. And we will start with Miss Red Collar, as she is the firstborn in this litter. Hello, sweetheart. Come here. Come on, that's a big girl. Oh, there we go. And Miss Red, oh, I forgot to check and see. Miss Red is still the biggest puppy in the litter. She is almost 2 kilograms. She's 1.970. This girl is a go-getter. She is the one who is usually tries everything first. She has a strong, outgoing, gregarious personality. She's super friendly, really affectionate. She loves people. She's a lot like Joe. As soon as she sees you, she drops everything and comes running to you. Unless, of course, it's the milk bar. Then I can't compete with that. Next is Orange Collar. Hello, sweetheart. Hi. Come here. Come here. Orange Collar is still the smallest puppy at 1.6 even. And this little dark golden caramel girl, she may be tiny, but she's got a big personality. She's not afraid of anything. She likes to try new things too. She's a nice, confident puppy. She's quiet. She's very good at figuring out how to find a good spot at the milk bar, and she loves toys. Here you go, little sweetheart. That's a girl. Go play with the mama now. Next is our one and only boy, Blue Collar, and he's right here. Are you going to come say hi? Come here. Come on. That's a boy. That's a boy. Yeah, that's a good boy. Blue is a pretty caramel tuxedo. Oh, Joe is concerned that she attend to his bathroom needs at the moment, so he's not shy about that. He's a sweetheart of a guy. This guy's a very nice, warm-hearted boy. He's sweet, he's kind. He doesn't kiss quite as much as his sisters do. He's a little bit more reserved in that respect, but he is just a lovely fellow, very nice and balanced type of personality. And Mr. Blue is 1.84 kilograms. There you go, Mr. Blue. And finally, we have Ms. Purple. Come here, Purpy, Purp, Purp, Purp. Make sure I got the right dog. Eh? Hi, sweetie. Hi. Hello, Purpy. Purpy is 1.770. Purpy is the quietest out of the whole litter. She is the one that is less inclined to go and embrace a new experience. Thank you, JoJo. That's so nice of you to bring me a toy. She waits and she watches and sees what everyone else does. She likes to see how she's leaning on me. She's a dog who likes to lean in and get a lot of comfort and support. She is very gentle. She is very quiet, and we'll see if that personality stays. Now, I suspect when we have our puppy family visit on the weekend, she's the puppy who's not going to be running out to say hi to everybody. She's the puppy who's going to hang back and go, I don't know. I'm not so sure. That's a whole lot of people I've never seen before. Whereas I expect Red and Orange will be like, oh, hey, hi, pick me. Come on, let's give me some pets. That's what I want. But we'll see. Sometimes I'm totally wrong. And one thing I want to stress before our family visit, do not fall in love with a particular puppy. And then when allocation day comes around, go, oh, why didn't I get that one? It is impossible to know what these puppies are all about when you are here for 60 minutes. Also, after your visit, they will change. And when I say next weekend for your family visit, by the way, it's not this coming weekend, it's the one following, just so we're clear what I mean by next. Don't want everyone to think that they got the wrong date for it. But it's really important that you don't glom onto one puppy at the visit and say, oh, that's the one for me, that dog chose me, or anything like that. They will continue to change, and what you see in that 60 minutes is not representative of what that puppy is like necessarily. How they behave in a situation that's totally novel to them is entirely different from what we see day in and day out. So you have 4 people assessing your puppy, 1 professional outside assessor who is a dog trainer. You have myself, Reynold, and Taylor, who is also a puppy trainer, all giving 4 independent assessments. Our outside trainer only meets the puppies once. She is our outside unbiased eye, and the rest of us have spent considerable time, and Reynold and I obviously every minute with them since they've been born. So just to keep that in mind when you do come for your puppy visit, not this coming weekend, but the one following. So hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, it really helps us out if you give us a thumbs up. It really helps us out even more if you take a moment and post a comment, ask a question, anything like that. We really appreciate that. And we hope you're subscribed to our channel and that you'll stay with us and watch these puppies right through to allocation day. Thanks so much for watching.